Hey there, comic fans! Welcome back to Comic Yahud. Today we're diving into Chapter 6 of Tintin and the King Ottokar Sceptre. Let's get started. As they approach, the imposing structure of Kropow Castle looms against the bright sky, surrounded by lush greenery. The castle's fortified towers stand as a testament to its historical significance, hinting at the secrets it holds within. A guard, dressed in a ceremonial uniform, approaches Alembic, respectfully requesting his presence on royal orders. The professor, holding his briefcase, agrees to follow, aware of the significance of the king's command. Flanked by guards, Alembic walks through the ancient stone corridors, the sound of their footsteps echoing solemnly around them. Despite the imposing figures surrounding him, the professor maintains a calm demeanor, clutching his briefcase tightly. They approach a formidable entrance guarded by yet more soldiers, their eyes fixed forward in disciplined vigilance. The professor takes a deep breath, preparing to enter the castle's inner sanctum where the kingdom's secrets await. Alembic expresses his observation that the regalia seems well guarded, prompting the captain to confidently assert that no one clever enough to steal it has been born yet. Their conversation underscores the importance and security of their mission as they proceed with determination. As they reach a grand, ornate door, guards in ceremonial attire stand ready, while the captain signals for it to be unlocked. The presence of so many guards emphasizes the critical nature of the treasures hidden within. The captain gestures proudly as the door swings open, revealing the regalia to Alembic. The professor looks on, aware of the immense historical and cultural significance of what lies before him. The grandeur of the treasure chamber dazzles Alembic as he steps inside, surrounded by intricate wall paintings and guarded treasures. The regalia glistens under the warm light, an awe-inspiring sight that underscores the weight of his mission. A guard explains to Alembic that they are now in the muniments room, adjacent to the treasure chamber, where he will be watched over by 2 guards. Alembic politely nods, understanding the need for such precautions, and reassures the guard of his compliance. Settling into the muniments room, Alembic immerses himself in ancient texts, surrounded by towering bookshelves. The guards stand watchful and alert by the door, their presence a constant reminder of the room's significance. In a sunlit room, a serious-looking officer instructs 2 soldiers about escorting a dangerous individual to Klow, hinting at dire consequences if he arrives. The officer continues, detailing a plan to feign a vehicle breakdown, anticipating the prisoner's escape attempt. The soldier, concerned about potential outcomes, seeks clarity, illustrating the uncertain and risky nature of their task. With confidence, the officer reassures the soldier that the escape will happen, conveying an air of certainty that underscores the calculated risk of their strategy. Tintin, sitting on a bench with Snowy by his side, looks puzzled as he reads a letter, wondering who could have sent it and referring to an unknown friend. Snowy's attentive gaze reflects the curiosity and concern shared by his companion. The letter reveals a dire warning, instructing Tintin to escape during a staged breakdown on his way to Klow, hinting at a grave threat to his life. The note, signed by a friend, suggests a carefully orchestrated plan involving the driver to ensure his safety. Realizing the danger of being caught with the incriminating letter, Tintin decides to dispose of it to avoid suspicion. Tintin, realizing the danger posed by the letter, instructs Snowy to swallow the paper pellet to keep its contents hidden. Snowy looks up at Tintin, his loyalty unwavering despite the unusual request. With urgency in his voice, Tintin urges Snowy to hurry as he senses someone approaching, a feeling of imminent threat lingering between them. Snowy, slightly frustrated, expresses his struggle with the task, adding a touch of humor to their tense situation. Soon after, Tintin finds himself in a car speeding through a forested path, accompanied by a soldier and a driver, the landscape blurring by in their haste. The vehicle's rapid pace hints at the importance of their journey, as they press on towards their uncertain destination. Tintin sits tensely in the back seat of the car, clutching Snowy closely, as the soldiers around him remain vigilant. The winding forest road seems endless, a silent reminder of the journey's perilous nature. Suddenly, the car comes to an abrupt halt, prompting Tintin to look around with concern as one of the soldiers questions the unexpected stop. The driver coolly blames the engine, masking any true intent behind the mechanical failure. Stepping out to inspect, a soldier reassures his comrades that everything is fine, as Tintin pretends to be asleep. His feigned slumber hides his alertness, ready to act as the soldiers remain unaware of his intentions. The soldiers gather around the car, their weapons drawn, as one of them signals to be alert, ready to act at a moment's notice. The tension among them is palpable as they focus on the task at hand, aware of the potential for conflict. As Tintin steps out of the car, he's realizing the trap, bolts from the car with Snowy at his side, his heart racing with the need to escape. Behind him, the soldiers shout commands, their fingers poised on the triggers, determined not to let him slip away. With bullets whizzing past, Tintin dives forward, narrowly avoiding the shots, his quick thinking the only thing keeping him safe. The ground rushes up to meet him as he tumbles, the realization of his narrow escape sinking in. Tintin and Snowy tumble down a steep hill, dodging trees and rocks as bullets whizzed past them. The forest echoes with gunfire, each shot a reminder of the danger close behind. The soldiers halt their firing, convinced that Tintin has vanished behind the boulders and might be seriously injured. Despite their assumptions, they decide to search the area, their voices filled with a mix of frustration and determination. Their wild descent comes to a sudden stop as Tintin is caught by a sturdy tree branch, leaving him dangling and breathless. Snowy, however, continues rolling down uncontrollably, the little dog not yet spared from the chaos. Tintin lands heavily on the ground, dazed and clutching his head, as colorful stars dance around him, hinting at his dizzying fall. Snowy lands directly on Tintin's head, both of them shaken but relieved to be away from the gunfire. Regaining his composure, Tintin listens intently to the soldiers' voices as they search nearby, urging Snowy to remain silent as they hide behind a tree. The soldiers tread carefully, their eyes scanning the terrain for any sign of the fugitive. The urgency of their mission is clear as one soldier confides in another about the consequences of letting Tintin escape, revealing the captain's displeasure at their failure. Their determination to find him is evident, but Tintin remains hidden, silently plotting his next move. The soldiers move through the forest, convinced Tintin is nearby, as he and Snowy hide silently behind the rocks. Their determination is evident as they scan the area with keen eyes, missing the pair who remain unseen in their hiding spot. As the soldiers pass, Tintin breathes a sigh of relief, whispering to Snowy that they've escaped detection. With renewed resolve, he decides it's time to head to Klow, hoping to find safety and answers there. Tintin, now cautiously making his way through the forest, realizes the gravity of the situation and the need to warn the king. Determined to reach his destination, he presses onward with Snowy, aware that danger might still be lurking. In Klow, Alembic inquires whether he can take photographs of certain documents, prompting a cautious response about the king's possible consent. The conversation takes place amidst a backdrop of towering bookshelves, hinting at the importance of the documents in question. Meanwhile, Tintin and Snowy find themselves back on the main road, their stomachs growling with hunger. Despite their exhaustion, the familiar path offers a glimmer of hope and direction as they press on. Back in Klow, Alembic receives confirmation that he can photograph the documents, but only with the official court photographer. The captain hands Alembic the authorization with a smile, ensuring the process is handled with the utmost formality. Tintin, with Snowy at his side, arrives at the outskirts of Klow, exclaiming their relief at reaching the city. Snowy, ever the practical one, reminds Tintin of their pressing hunger as they continue down the path. In the bustling streets of Klow, Tintin approaches a local vendor carrying ornate coffee pots and asks for directions to the palace. The vendor kindly points the way, instructing Tintin to head to Ottokar Square and then turn left, while Snowy trots beside him, eager to follow. As they walk through the city, Tintin passes a foreboding door marked, "Danger High Voltage," but Snowy's mind is elsewhere, dreaming of a bone. Despite the intimidating sign, Tintin remains focused on reaching the palace, while Snowy's thoughts linger on their next meal. Caught in a sudden downpour, Tintin and Snowy rush towards the shelter of a nearby building. Tintin reassures Snowy that they'll wait out the storm, while Snowy wonders if there's food inside. Finding refuge under the entrance of the Natural History Museum, Tintin stands with relief as the rain continues to pour outside. He gazes up at the imposing structure, grateful for the unexpected sanctuary. As the rain begins to lighten, Tintin notes with a touch of relief that the storm is passing. He prepares to continue their journey, knowing that their mission demands urgency. Tintin, with urgency in his step, urges Snowy to hurry as they must warn the king of impending danger. The rain pours down, adding to his determination as they race towards the palace. As they navigate the wet streets, Tintin realizes Snowy has fallen behind and calls out for him anxiously. His voice echoes against the stone walls as he searches for his loyal companion. Suddenly, Snowy appears, triumphantly carrying an enormous bone, much to Tintin's surprise. Tintin's concern turns to bewilderment as he watches Snowy delight in his unexpected find. Inside the museum, a guard is perplexed by the missing bone from the Diplodocus skeleton, scratching his head in confusion. Meanwhile, other visitors wander the hall, unaware of the puzzle that has caught the guard's attention. Tintin, realizing Snowy's mischief, sternly instructs him to return the bone immediately. Snowy, looking sheepish, understands the urgency in Tintin's voice as he points emphatically. Snowy struggles to drag the enormous bone, but it gets stuck against a pole. The sudden snag sends him rolling clumsily, and the bone slips from his grip, leaving him scrambling in frustration. As Snowy loses his grip on the bone, a black dog quickly seizes it in triumph. Instantly, the rest of the pack gives chase, each barking and snapping as they try to snatch the prize for themselves, the street erupting into chaos. Meanwhile, Tintin approaches the Grand Palace gates with a sense of urgency, spotting their destination at last. He quickens his pace, knowing that they must warn the king without delay. As they arrive at the entrance, a stern guard stands watch, his posture rigid and alert. Tintin, undeterred, strides confidently through the gate with Snowy by his side, determined to deliver their crucial message. Tintin approaches a dignified guard within the palace, his eyes earnest as he requests an immediate audience with the king due to pressing matters. The guard listens intently, acknowledging the weight in Tintin's words. The guard, maintaining his formal demeanor, instructs Tintin to wait while he checks with the king's aide-de-camp, asking for Tintin's name to announce. Tintin responds with quiet confidence, his name carrying the promise of vital news. As Tintin waits, standing beside a stoic soldier, Snowy sits patiently at his feet, both awaiting the outcome with quiet anticipation. The grand windows frame the scene, casting a tranquil light on their determined faces. The king's aide-de-camp, seated behind a desk cluttered with papers, listens intently before agreeing to let Tintin in, acknowledging the importance of his visit. The formality of the exchange underscores the significance of Tintin's mission. With the guard leading the way, Tintin follows closely, his coat flapping as Snowy trots beside him through the opulent corridor. The grandeur of the palace envelopes them, heightening the sense of purpose in their steps. Inside the office, the aide-de-camp politely concludes a phone call with an elegant signora, promising the king's delight at her evening visit. Tintin waits patiently, aware that every moment brings them closer to their audience with the king. Meanwhile, Professor Alembic and her Zarlets finalize their plans to visit Kropow Castle together, agreeing on a morning departure. Their conversation hints at a shared mission, underscoring the importance of their journey. Back at the palace, Tintin faces the aide-de-camp, who questions his request for an audience with the king. Tintin hesitates, stressing the confidentiality of his message, his tone both urgent and respectful. And that wraps up this chapter. If you enjoyed the story, head to the next part and be sure to like and subscribe for more adventures on Comic Yahad.